What is up, Tampa Bay? Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Living in Tampa Live. And it is the day after Hurricane Debby. So we are going to be getting into what happened. We definitely want to cover some of that. But, if you've never joined us before, we talk all things Tampa Bay, what it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here, what it's like to survive hurricanes here, and get you in all the mix. If you want to know all things Tampa Bay, you are in the right place. I'm joined by my trusty co-hostesses. I've got Miss Marcia Railton down in Bradenton and Sarasota. Good evening, Marcia.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be here.
And it is, of course, great to have you. So we're excited. And we've got the lovely and talented also back from a family event, Miss Stacy Amon. Good evening.
Good evening. So happy to be back. Missed you guys last week.
Yes, we missed you too. Don't worry, Marcia held it down.
I'm sure she did. I'm sure she kept you in line as well.
I had to do all the work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's right. And the audience, you guys brought so many questions last week. Marcia had the whole day planned out, all went out the window because they asked a ton of questions last week. So we want to invite you. If this is your first time here, just know that you are welcome to this conversation. This is your personal invitation. Okay. We have a community here. You'll notice that in the chat, people will start to ask questions. They'll pop in. They know each other's names in there. Yes, they do. We have an incredible audience, and we welcome you to connect with us and the audience members as well. Let us know where you're watching from. That is a very helpful tool. Helps us remember who you are too, so that we're grateful for the connection there. And if you have questions about the area, feel free to ask. We've reached out to a lot of clients over the last couple days. I had to take yesterday and kind of get the house back in order. The neighborhood looked like somebody had ran through with a 20-foot telescoping chainsaw and just knocked limbs out all over the place. And but we were very fortunate here where we live. But I do know that there are a lot of areas that were significantly impacted from Hurricane Debby and the effects that it's had on the area. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to share what life is like here, preparing for a storm. What is it? What's it go through? I'll share video of my infinity pool that I have in my backyard. And the girls are laughing because I don't own an infinity pool. But that is exactly what my backyard looked like. Y'all, we were like this close to flooding in our house. And we were very fortunate. But I know that there are a lot of people who absolutely didn't get that option. So just know that we're here. We're going to talk about it as a community. If you live here in the greater Tampa Bay area and you were affected, please let us know how you were affected in the chat. I think it's helpful for other people to understand just what's been going on, where you're at too. Let us know what neighborhood or what city you live in. That way we can, talk about this as a community. I've shared all three of my hurricane experiences now since moving to Tampa in 2018. And the first one was really, I didn't handle it well. And I got on, it was right after I started these live streams, Marcia. And I literally was like, I broke down and, cried like
talking to you that day.
It was crazy. Like I wasn't, and nothing had happened, y'all. Like we had a couple fence panels get lost or whatever, but like I was just emotional because I had spent 2 days and I was sick as a dog. I think I had COVID. I had a super big fever, trying to put the house together by myself. My family wasn't here. It was just one of those things. I'm whining out loud. We made it through just fine, but emotionally, I was like overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
So we went through this, and it's been an experience. Now, just like all weather, and what I mean by this is like you don't prepare for things and you get in trouble. I remember what happened with Ian. Part of the reason that I was so worked up about it is because we were supposed to get that hurricane, right? That was like for days they were telling us, Tampa, this is your hurricane. You guys are about to get rocked. Buckle up. And, literally hours before, that thing took a right turn and just blew up Fort Myers. And, man, we were really spared here. And it was an experience, y'all. It was an experience. So we'll get into that. We're gonna and we're not gonna try to make the whole night about this, but if this is what you guys want to talk about, we'll chop it up with you. I want to say hello to everyone watching right now, and just say thanks for being a viewer. We appreciate it. What is up, Adam, my man? We are going to get into it. That is for sure. Excited to see you. He said, hit the like all. So we're gonna fix that. It's y'all when you move to Florida, Adam. And yes, please do make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps the channel for sure. Chris says, happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope those in Florida survived the storm. Okay, we did. Chris checked on me. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. I know that he was very fortunate out in Valrico. That means Stacy and Marcia did an excellent job of protecting our clients, putting them in a home that was safe and secure and above flood grade. Yeah, my team, way to go. Proud of you, ladies. Way to do it. This is what we focus on here. So we're here to help. I love that. All right. Lobo says, hoping you guys were okay down there. We were. We all made it through pretty well. Stacy wasn't even around. So she was like, whatever happens, we're good over there. But yeah, we are great. Thank you all for checking on us. Corey says, Juan, Stacy, Marcia, good to see you safe. Adam and Chris, you are absolutely happy to connect. Let me see here. Adam said, Stacy, he just texted you. You want to make sure he's checking in. You want to make sure it's y'all or all. He was checking to make sure what's going on there. Just focus on it. Love it. All right. Desiree says, hello, everyone. I missed the last couple of lives. Glad to be back. Well, we are happy to have you back. Love that. Tom says, I'm in Valrico and no issues. Yeah, that was the report we are getting back from Valrico, Tom. And happy to hear that you guys made it through unscathed. So, made the connection. Corey says, Adam, Chris, Sassy, who's not here yet. Vlad, hey, y'all. Love that. Oh, I stand corrected.
I was going to say, I think I saw her name on there.
Sassy made it in on time tonight. She was a little bit later last week, but she snuck in there. And happy to see you. Glad you could join us. That's fantastic. Love that. Okay. Sassy says, hey, Corey, she's responding. Love that. All right. Tom says, I spent high school and college in West Palm Beach, and we just looked at hurricanes as a time to surf. There you go. You see it every time. Ladies, Marcia, I don't know about you, but every time we've had major storms, there's always those guys who put on the suits and head out in the water, man. And I'm like, shout out to you.
I saw a lot of videos people posted of people surfing, skateboarding, doing different things, and whether it was like in the water or in the water on the streets.
Yep.
Different places that they were having a good time.
Absolutely. It was interesting. I've got a whole bunch of video that I say that I want to share with you guys because it was fascinating. Good afternoon, Derek, or good evening, I should say. Bridge closures can be a big inconvenience the next day after a storm in the area of needing to travel across the bay. That's for sure. I think the Sunshine Skyway was closed yesterday, Marcia. Just they were checking up on it, and because of wind too. And the Howard Franklin needed some repair. I'm trying to pull that up right now. I'll do that while you ladies are covering some things. But I've got some videos to show y'all, and I want to start with the kind of like just giving it some insights on how this went down really quick. Not a meteorologist. I don't play one on TV. We've shared with you guys who to go follow. So if you're in Tampa Bay and you're looking for the people to follow, you want to follow Mike's weather page. He's on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the places. Mike is the guy. Go follow Mike. That he literally is a storm chaser. He'll go run into a storm, and he's great. Really good at keeping you up to date. And then Dennis Phillips, who we mentioned before too. And I'll share these their social handles when we get onto the to the Instagram there, so you guys can check that out. Both those guys are awesome to follow. And Dennis was saying it all week. He said, don't freak out unless I do. That's rule number 7 for anybody who's not familiar with how Tampa Bay works. And Dennis was not freaking out, right? So everybody was pretty laid back for the most part when it came to this stuff. And y'all, I wasn't expecting much. I mean, Marcia, we were hearing all week that this wasn't going to be that big of a deal. We were going to get some storm and some winds. Right. We knew we'd get some pretty strong rain, but we just didn't know how strong that was going to be. And man, did it rain, y'all. I mean, it came down and it didn't stop. It was nonstop. And I know that our friends to the north, up in Charleston and North Carolina, they're feeling the effects right now, and they're pretty well flooded too. But I wanted to share with you guys these rainfalls. I'm laughing, and I know I'm able to do that now, but we were in the moment. It was like I don't know if this is going to end well or not, because our house was, the water line on my back porch is 6 inches. It is nuts. It was crazy how much water we had up against the back of the house. But this is in Pinellas County where I live, and for those of you who don't know, let me pull it up on the map really quick. Just so everybody can kind of get a sense of where things are. So Pinellas County is the Gulf beaches. So if you're thinking Tampa Bay, Clearwater, St. Petersburg, that is where you're going to find it. So this is Pinellas County here. All right, this peninsula, on a peninsula in the ocean. And then you got Tampa over to the east of that. And then this is the Howard Franklin Bridge, which, did you ladies see the video from the bridge there? It got rough.
I didn't see it.
I'm going to show you guys. It's intense, man. So wait till you see that. It's fascinating. But the Gulf beaches here, there was a lot of flooding. All right. So in the entire Tampa Bay area, Sarasota, I saw photos today of like full-size expeditions underwater in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Sarasota. It was crazy.
When I read today on in the Bradenton Herald that the different amounts of rain in places, Lakewood Ranch got over 17 inches, Parrish got 14 and a half, and Bradenton got almost 12 inches of rain.
That's
and
exactly.
Said that, Anna Maria had 64-mile-per-hour winds, and Palmetto had 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Wow.
It got pretty intense, right? So Anna Maria Island is the tip here. This is like, think of this as more of Sarasota, even though this is Tampa Bay, right here. And Lakewood Ranch is this area right here on the map also. So inland there. But yes, 17 and a half inches of rain in one day in Lakewood Ranch. I mean, stuff flooded, underwater, crazy amounts of rain. And that's what I was going to share, Marcia, is like how much rainfall we had just in Pinellas County where I live. Here's some measurements, on the Gulf. Pinellas Park was 12 inches. St. Pete was 10 inches. And if you know anything about St. Pete, that's a low-lying area. It can't handle 10 inches of rain in one day. So there was a lot of flooding going on down there. Clearwater Beach, 10 inches. Palm Harbor, 9. Tarpon Springs, 9. Seminole was 9. And Largo was 8.5 where I live. And I think most of that ended up on my lanai. So it was pretty intense there for a minute. We were trying to figure out, like, all right, what are we going to do here with the flooding? Our back door, we have a 3 seasons room. It's a sunroom, and it's all porcelain and it's all block outside. So I wasn't really worried about it. And, but we put sandbags on the inside of the door, because I started to see it come up through the jam there, and I was like, oh, better do something. And we have sandbags in the outside from the other 2 hurricanes that we've been through now, and really wanted to just make sure that we were prepared as best as possible. I bought a pump, so if something happened, we could take care of it. But the water outside, man, was just intense to say the least. So I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. So we just did our best, and we were pretty fortunate. Now, the cool thing about Florida, if you're unaware, is our soil is sand, and we're built on limestone. So as soon as the water stops, Marcia, it starts to recede pretty fast for the most part. Right now, if you're sitting in feet of water, it's going to take time. But we literally were spared and got very fortunate. Now, here's another thing too. I'm in a non-flood zone. I'm 28. My home is 28 feet above sea level. And I know some of you are laughing. You like live in the mountains. You're like, oh my God, that's so close. Yes, it is. I've got clients right now buying land in Madeira Beach that is 3 feet above sea level on average. All right. So this is the world we live in down here. We really have to be mindful of what happens here in the area. But this storm flooded and gave us more rain, and we had more floods than we did during Hurricane Idalia last year or the year before. I don't even remember now. They're all running together. And Hurricane Ian, which again, that mostly hit Fort Myers Beach in those areas. But Fort Myers was underwater again, y'all. Did you see that? They were like 4 or 5 feet on the beach. Sanibel Island was closed. The beach was closed today. It's been crazy talk. All right. It's been crazy. So, wow. Just what an intense couple of days. Yesterday, like I said, we did all the cleanup. Kids were helping the neighbors clean up all the trees and sticks and everything. And we did have sun. Abundant sunshine is back today. And, everybody's kind of doing their thing. And one of the things I want to say about this is just the thing that I'm really proud of as a Floridian now is the sense of community and how quickly people come together when this stuff happens. Like, people are like, let's go. They're great to the electric companies. I mean, I've never heard of anybody being crappy to them. As a matter of fact, people in Florida will defend the linemen. Right? It's like, it's the thing, man. Like, they catch them in Waffle House, we're paying y'all's bill. Like, let's go. Like, we're taking care of those guys. And I'm sharing this with you because, like, there was that hurricane in Texas, and like they were like being challenged and threatened. Those guys had to come out, like the lineman union had to come out and say, like, we're not going to help you guys if you keep attacking us. And I just want to share that I'm proud to be a Floridian during situations like this, because this community and our residents pull together and we work really hard to make sure that people are doing well. Again, my neighborhood as an example, everybody's running around helping everybody. What do you got? What do you need? Let me help. And I'm grateful to live in a community that is focused on making sure that everybody's okay. So that's great. And I know, Marcia, you saw them in Sarasota. People were in the boats, doing little land rescues for people. I mean, it was crazy. And this is one of the scary things. And I wanted to talk about this because, to be in paradise. And it's something that we talk about often with our clients. But it's also something you need to be aware of. Now, are there areas where you can live in the Tampa Bay area where you have far less risk than others? Yes. Again, we've got clients. We just moved to Valrico. Great shape. Stacy, you just got back. How's your house?
Fine.
No problems, right?
Nope. I just got a little debris in the yard. I don't even think we lost power, which was shocking. But yeah, we were good.
Yep. And that's what it really boils down to, man, is like making sure that you make a sound decision for you and your household, because not everybody's willing to take the risk. We are. I know we're nuts. I'm aware of that. Our family lets us know all the time. As soon as they start seeing hurricane warnings up north, they're like, wait a minute, what are you guys doing? Like, where are you? And like, hey, we're paying attention. We get plenty of notice. That is the most beautiful thing out of all of the chaos, that, in my mind, is at least we get enough time to think through it, look at it, and go, how do we want to approach this? And every family is going to be different. I mean, there's plenty of people who never leave, right, Marcia?
Yes.
Right? They don't leave. My father-in-law never left. Been through Hurricane Matthews, like all the big storms, right? Like, and has never, ever left. And there are other people who choose to never leave. There's the adage that things don't get crazy till the Waffle House shut down, and that's true. Sassy but classy. Like, sometimes something I learned from my neighbors while I lived out there was not to freak out until the Waffle House closes down. And that's true. And like, Floridians will tell you that, right? Is the Waffle House open? Yes. Then you ain't got nothing to worry about. We're gonna be just fine. And the thing to keep in mind here is our homes are built different, y'all. Right? Like, they're built out of block. These things are like little mini bomb shelters. And the mayor of Tampa, Jane Castor, said last week, and she said it very well. And this is, I agree with the opinion, which is you run from the water and you hide from the wind. Right. And that's a great way to think about how to approach these storms. And again, Tampa's been spared. It's been 105 years since Tampa has taken a direct shot. It was 1921 when Tampa had its last direct hit of a hurricane. Now, I'm not saying we haven't felt the effects. This storm, I don't know if anybody looked at it, the size of this hurricane, right? We were still getting rain in the south end of Florida as they were getting rain in the Carolinas yesterday. We're talking about 600 miles. That's how big this storm was. And you can't hide from it. But taking a direct hit or being on the front end of it is a lot different. And Tampa's been very, very fortunate. And there's a lot of credit given to the burial grounds here in Pinellas County. And I'll rock with it. If that's where we're going, I'm good. Like we'll do the thing. I'm here to pray to the Lord, but if we get some extra juju, I am down with whatever we got to do. Right. So I'm grateful that we live in an area that seems to be very fortunate, and I don't take that for granted. Right. And I'm grateful that it doesn't look like we had any loss of life here in the greater Tampa Bay area that I'm aware of. If that has happened, please feel free to mention that in a chat with honor, of course. Right. But it doesn't sound like that has happened. I'm grateful. So a lot of crazy stuff, taking place through this, and I'll pull up some more shots for you guys to see. But the big thing has been flooding, and we talk a lot about this in our calls with people who are considering relocating the area. And there's fear around hurricanes, which is, I think it's prudent, right? At the end of the day, being very respectful of nature is a wise decision, but there's ways to position yourself strategically in the area to be able to take advantage of our natural beauty, like our beaches, and not have to be right on top of them. Okay. So, make sure that when you connect with us, let us know what are you trying to accomplish from a lifestyle perspective, because there are areas where you can drive 30 minutes to the beach and be far enough off the coast where, flooding or a storm surge is not your biggest concern. You're going to deal with heavy rains. You're going to deal with, potentially hurricane strength winds, but you're not right on the water. So it's kind of one for the other. Listen, y'all, our coast is full of crazies. We have 23 million people who live in this state, and a majority of them live on the coast, right? All 1,300 miles of it, or whatever we got, the insane number, and they choose to, just like me. We're all water babies, and we love it. So definitely something to keep an eye on, be mindful of, be respectful of, but there's ways to approach it. So we'll definitely get into that as the evening goes along here. Let me get into some more of these comments, because you guys have some great stuff rocking and rolling here early. Vlad says, sorry about the hurricane that happened. I'll talk to the big man and make sure that he keeps it down next time. For real though, happy you guys are okay. We are okay. Thanks, Vlad, for checking on us. Desiree says, my cousin moved to Florida last year. This was her first hurricane experience, and guess where he went? He showed up unexpectedly on my front porch here in upstate New York.
Gosh, he went a long ways.
He went a long ways, man. I don't think you had to go that far, but hey, that's what works for you. I get it. It's okay. It's okay to be fearful. I understand. No judgment there. Kevin says, good evening from Lakeland. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin emailed me to let me know he was okay, which I appreciate, my brother. He said we had 11.1 inches of rain here in Lakeland. And Lakeland is a good hour and 10 minutes as the crow flies away from the coast, right? So that's how far inland they were, and still got a ton of rain like that. So that's fascinating. Let me see here. I noticed that the news meteorologists up north make the storm to sound worse than what it actually makes. Yeah. And in all fairness, like, I don't think you're allowed to underplay it, right? Like they do a good job of giving us insights, but they all say the same thing. You can't take anything for granted, right? Because you never know how it's going to go, right, ladies?
True.
We just don't know. Let's see here. I love this. Tom says Spanish maps dated from 1584 identifies Tampa Bay as Bay de Espiritu de Santos, which is Bay of the Holy Spirit. I love it. I'm good. All the way back to 1584. Wow. Now I've got to do my homework, because I can't wait to dig that up. Thank you for sharing that, Tom. That is an incredible insight. Shout out to the locals. All right. Shout out to the locals. Love that. Okay, cool. Ladies, let's get into crazy meat. Let's get into some local real estate talk real quick, and something quick insight for everybody. I am going next Thursday to the local Tampa Builder Show. And why that's important is because I want to let everybody know I'm going there to make the connections with the builders. But more importantly, I'm going to dig out the things that they're not announcing yet. I'm going there to build those relationships so I can get you guys ahead of the curve on what is coming to the community. Because as we're all aware, Tampa Bay has been building houses like crazy for the last 4 years. If you're not, now you're informed. And people have been moving here by the thousands. I mean, it's been incredible how many people have moved here over the last 5 years alone, and that's continuing to grow. So I want to get you guys the local insights on this. And Marcia has been waiting patiently for 3 weeks to share local insights about Sarasota and Bradenton. And you guys have had excellent questions. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to invite you to ask questions, whatever you want to know about the area. How did we prepare for the hurricane? That's okay. We can get back into that. Happy to share those things with you too. If you want to know about a specific development, feel free to ask us here. If you want to know how to connect with us, you can do it by either going to our website, which is tbhomesearch.com. That's Tampa Bay Homesearch.com. My phone number is right there on the screen. You can connect with me directly. And then after this live stream wraps up, you'll see all of my contact information, including a link to my calendar where you can connect with us too. So you got questions, you got comments. That is the place to do it. Feel free to jump in there and connect. All right. So Marcia, let's talk a little bit about what you had planned for us. Where do you want to go first?
How about Esplanade at Artisan Lakes?
You can do that.
Up in Palmetto. You want to pull it up, or should I just go ahead?
Pulling it up right now. Go ahead.
I love the Esplanade communities. Taylor Morrison is the builder in those community resort style living. This community has 800 acres, and of course, it's gated. They have things like a resort style pool. They have a beautiful clubhouse, fitness center, bocce ball, pickleball, tennis, and they even have a salon right there in the community. They have a concierge service where you can get dry cleaning picked up. They'll arrange for your travel or pet care. It's just unbelievable, all the things that they have at the Esplanade communities. And their homes are very beautiful. I love a lot of their floor plans. They'll do 2 to 4 bedrooms. They'll do 2 to 3.5 bathrooms. They're semi-custom, so you choose a floor plan you like, and you can make some changes to it, which I like that a lot. All the homes in this community are 1-story, and square footage range from 1,700 to 3,000 square feet. And they do have options of 2-bedroom or 2-car or 3-car garage. Nice. And Palmetto is a great location because it's very close to the North River Ranch, but you're close to St. Pete Beach. It's just a little closer than Parrish to those areas.
Marcia, what's the address?
I don't have the address written down. Can you just?
Yeah, they usually got it at the bottom.
For the models, you mean, or?
Nope. For the community itself. It's Artisan Lakes.
It's normally under hours and directions.
Okay.
Right now they're having huge incentives up to $80,000 in design money for you if you choose a house and build it. And the homes range from $400,000 up to over $900,000. So it's a large variety of homes in the community. And I think we've talked about plenty of Esplanade home or communities before. We have them in Lakewood Ranch, up in Parrish, in Palmetto. They're further down in Sarasota. There's several in the area, and they're, like I said, people love them because of the resort style living.
Yeah. The Esplanade communities are wonderful. Their amenities are second to none, y'all. They're definitely some of the most impressive that we have here in the Tampa Bay area. Just it's the community as a whole. It's not just the one thing. It's the culmination of all of them. Artisan Lakes here, I just wanted to pull it up on the map. That's this pin. If you guys can see it here. I think this is super important to note because this puts you about 30 minutes away from St. Pete Beach and 25 to 30 minutes away from downtown St. Pete, as well as access to Bradenton and Sarasota just to the south. So you got Anna Maria Island, Longboat Key, Sarasota, all that stuff just to the south. This is a really, really good location if you're if you want to be close to the water, but in a non-flood, non-evacuation zone.
Mm-hmm.
So getting back to the point about hurricanes and the concern around them, like these communities are, most of the properties here aren't going to fall into that flood zone categorization, which is super important from insurance perspective and more importantly, a peace of mind. So definitely something to share there. You're going to be about 45 to 50 minutes to downtown Tampa to the north. As you can see here, you can skip right up 75. Or you can sneak around 275 and then come up into South Tampa, or continue up to downtown Tampa through 275 on that side. So really nice, conveniently located there. Love it. Great share, Martha. What else you got?
One last thing I'd like to say is that I love their landscaping. The Esplanades have above, which I think the landscaping in Florida is beautiful. I think builders do a really good job, but Esplanade again is above average when it comes to their landscaping.
Yeah.
Next community I'd like to talk about is Homes by West Bay at North River Ranch. They're moving into the Long Meadow part of North River Ranch. So it's a new section that they're moving into, and I absolutely love it because it's heavily wooded and they have a lot of ponds in the area. So we've talked before about Wildleaf. That's a Neal community that we like, and it's now Long Meadow is moving in right next to Wildleaf. So they're just starting to build in there. Homes by West Bay is one of the builders, but Pulte and Cardell Homes are also going to be building in that area. So when it's all said and done, there's going to be about 200 homes, and Homes by West Bay are building around 60 of those homes.
Okay. And that is right here off of Moccasin Wallow Road. And this is the community that we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wildleaf is this guy right here.
And Long Meadow's right above it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be opening their model in September. And when I was talking to Stacy, not our Stacy, but the Stacy that's the sales rep there, she said it's going to be coastal elevation, like the homes that they're building in Star Farms and the Venice communities. So it'll be a different look than the right now they're in Brightwood. Yep. And so it's going to be a different look. And she said design elements that are going to be standard are the beams, which you know, Juan, Stacy, and I all love the floor plans, Homes by West Bay. And one thing they always have in the living rooms are the beams. So now that's going to be part of the design. And also they call it the Ultra Island, which is a humongous island. And then alongside of that, they have a built-in table, which is really nice. So the kitchens are, I think, a dream kitchen for most people. It's just it's like you could just live in there with your family. It's wonderful.
It really is. Why can't we get one of these on the beach? This makes me crazy. I love their kitchens. It makes me crazy. Oh,
maybe you should talk to them when you go to that builders event next Thursday.
I'm so mad, dude. I love their community, and more important, I love their floor plans. Stacy and I have been in there. Marcia and I have been in there, and that what are they calling it? An Ultra Island? They've got a name for it now. What are they calling it?
Ultra Island.
That is, they're so good.
Yeah, they're very good.
They're so good. Anyway.
The price ranges for Homes by West Bay and Long Meadow. I'm looking at homes they're getting ready right now, and they're starting at like the mid 70s up and way over 900. So I shouldn't say
700s, 900,
not way over, mid 900s. They're going to have a Biscayne 2, which is our favorite floor plan, ready by the end of September. It's August or September move in. 3,138 square feet. It's 4-bedroom, 4-bath, a den, and 3-car garage. And it's the price is $915,000.
Okay.
It can be yours, Juan.
Not on the beach. They're going to charge me $2.9 million for it. It's a different story over here.
Of that number, and you're there.
Yeah, exactly.
They're offering incentives as well. $35,000 incentives right now for Homes by West Bay and Long Meadow. So those are both up in one in Parrish, one in Palmetto. They're in great locations. We talked about that area and how it's a good buy right now because they're, you know, in a area that's just getting going as far as developing like Lakewood Ranch.
Yep.
But the communities themselves, when you drive through them, they look very, you know, they don't look heavily under construction. They do it in portions, and then they make that area look really well lived in, and then they move to the next one, so it doesn't feel like you're in the midst of construction all the time.
Yeah, which I do love the way that they've been rolling that out strategically. I think it's been really, really well done. So I agree there, Marcia. That's awesome. And then you had some food for us tonight too, I think, huh?
I do. I feel like I have to keep up with you on that, but I never can. So we have a new restaurant in downtown Bradenton called Taverna Toscana, and I have gotten to experience it, and it is phenomenal. A famous chef by the name of Fabio Viviani and a entrepreneur here in Bradenton made this come to life, and it is amazing. It's Italian, but it's like an Italian steakhouse. So you feel like you walked into a restaurant in Italy. It feels very authentic, and the food is phenomenal. I can't say enough about it, but they're really trying to revitalize downtown Bradenton. And I keep hearing of more and more restaurants that are moving into the downtown area. And I'm excited. This one is absolutely gorgeous. They built it from the ground up, and it's a really, really nice atmosphere, and the food is phenomenal.
Well, the food looks beautiful. I mean, I'm always a big fan when they take the time. I mean, you know,
yeah.
Look at this. And
unusual things on the menu. I pulled up the menu so I could say that they have like roasted sea bass, they have salmon, mahi. I can't pronounce a lot of the things that they have on the menu. Pork chops, chicken, and then of course a lot of steak.
Which is no one's going to be offended,
No.
especially in my house. We got mussels on the meat on the menu, which I love. Meatballs here, grilled bone marrow. Yeah, this is Marcia. You're speaking my language now. All right, roasted beet salad, Taverna chop salad. We got prosciutto and arugula, pizza. Let's see, truffle mushroom. Oh, Marcia, I already know what you had. I know what you had.
I don't even look at the steak. I go right to the pizza.
I already know. Marcia had trouble. And for anyone wondering, if you want to know the way to Marcia's heart, it's through truffle pizza. Okay. Just for anyone wondering. All right. Fresh pasta. Looks like they've got some Wagyu short rib. I love that. Vodka rosé, shrimp.
A lot of words, like I said, I don't know how to pronounce. So I'm glad you're reading it.
Let's talk about the steaks because, you know, let's get into seafood for a second. Sea bass, salmon, mahi, seafood, copino. I'm not sure what that is. Clams, mussels, calamari. Love that. Double pork chop. Pork chops, like it's so hard to do those right. Abusco, what is it? I can't even pronounce that either. And roasted half chicken. I see that. All right. And then we got great ribeyes on the menu, 35-day dry age. This is my wheelhouse. I'm in. Marcia, was that an invite that you were handing out? Okay. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
We'll plan a date. Then we can all of us. Stacey, you can drive down too. I know it's a long ways, but it'd be fun. Then we can report back to everybody.
Yeah, that's a great share. I love it. Thank you, Marcia. All right, let's see. Mr. Campbell has a question for you.
Oh, hi, Brian. Yes, it is. Thank goodness.
Yeah, if you didn't get a phone, listen, if you're building a home with us in Tampa Bay and you didn't get a phone call from the builder frantically today about the condition of your home, you're probably in good shape. Just FYI. They usually are pretty quick to make phone calls
to let you know.
Yeah, exactly.
The question is, did they call you today? We should have asked you that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good question. Bob says, are prices dropping in Tampa? Bob, they aren't. I'll tell you what is dropping right now. Asking prices are dropping. Sales prices are not. and there's a difference between the two. I do think that, well, let me rephrase this. I know prices are going to start to fall because they do every August. Real estate is seasonal. And if you look at it anywhere in the United States, you will find that in August, usually July is the peak, and then August, it starts to slide down through the fall and starts to climb back up next spring during the selling season. So prices will fall, FYI. But as of right now, home prices in Tampa Bay, Tampa proper, I'm sorry, this is Wesley Chapel. They're only up 13.7% in Wesley Chapel right now. So that is a very interesting number considering all of the gloom and doom that's been out there. Single family homes are up 6.6%. That's Wesley Chapel. Let's head over to Tampa proper. We'll work our way around the city here. The United States is up 4%. That's the entire country. And if we go to Tampa proper in real time, according to Redfin, home prices in Tampa right now are up 11.7%, almost coming in at $500,000. So no, not yet. But again, prices will start to come down seasonally. That happens every year at this time. So you're going to start to see, we should have the peak of home prices, should have been June again, or July. My guess is it's going to be June based upon what we were seeing in the marketplace. And asking prices are starting to come down. You're seeing a lot of price reductions in the marketplace. Again, real estate works on historical data. A reduction in asking price, that's a leading indicator versus a lagging indicator. You add that on top of the seasonal slowdown, you're going to have prices start to come down. To what amount? I couldn't speculate on that, Bob. Interest rates dropped almost a half a point in 2 days. They did bounce up a little bit, but we are well off of our peak right now. If we just go over to what's going on with interest rates in the United States, they did bump up 18 basis points. We went back up to a 6.52 today, but we were down to 6.34 yesterday. And if you look at this chart and really dig into this, I mean, in April, they were all the way up at 7.5% on average. A lot of people were getting 8s at that point. And now you're down in 6.5 range. There's going to be some more adjustments here. I don't know how much of the Federal Reserve's cutting the interest rates in September, if they do it, which it's looking more and more likely. It's probably going to be, could be up to 50 basis points. That's kind of already baked into this number. But could we see more downward pressure on mortgage prices? Yes. Or I'm sorry, interest rates. The answer to that is yes. So why I'm sharing that with you guys is because if the mortgage interest rates get anywhere near a 5% level, and I don't mean 5% flat, I mean in that 5% range. So even if it gets to 5.99, when you think that at the beginning of August, we were, in 7% land still, people are going to be getting back in the market, them sitting on the sidelines. So just keep that in mind, y'all. We're in this window that gives some opportunity, but it's also a good time to just be diligent, right? Think through it. Think, what are you trying to accomplish? Is it your monthly payment, or is it price? Because those are two different things, right? If you pay cash, it's the price. If you're financing a mortgage, then usually people are more focused on their monthly payment. I'm not saying getting a house at a lower price isn't important. I just want to make sure that, what is your strategy? What are you trying to accomplish? So hope that helps, Bob. Great question, and we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep you guys in the mix in terms of what's happening in housing prices. Again, you should expect to see housing prices starting to come down at this time of the year and dip somewhere in that October-ish range. You know what I mean? Like, and if interest rates start getting lower, then you might see that start to take off again. So just keep that in mind. We've got the one, the only, the Miss Denise in the house. Good evening, Denise.
Hello, Denise.
Spoke to Denise today.
Denise.
She's a ray of sunshine.
She is. Soon to be a full-time Floridian.
Mm-hmm. We are excited for Miss Denise. And y'all, wherever you're watching us from, happy to have you with us. Thanks for the Be Safe. Thanks for checking in on us. Again, it was a crazy time. And I'll pull up that video here shortly, like I said, and share it with you guys of my infinity pool / flooded lanai. So everybody can see that. And the waterfall that was coming off of my roof. It was crazy time. I'll share that with you guys. But I'm definitely excited to make that just to be in a place to where you can have an event like that take place and then be in semi-normalcy in the next couple of days. It's fascinating to me, y'all. Like, I'm still blows my mind that, like I said, the community pulls together in the way that they do. So we would love to know where you're watching from. If you've never connected with us before, welcome to Living in Tampa Live. We talk about all things Tampa Bay, what it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here, what it's like to survive storms here. We get into all that. Love sharing that with you guys. Don't hesitate to make a connection with us. Let us, if you got any questions, put them in the comment section. We're happy to have discussions about new communities, about resale properties, about the best restaurants in Tampa. This is what we do here. This is for you. You guys really determine the direction of this this live stream, and we love bringing it to you. So happy to make those connections. All right, JW says, what is the maximum amount of seller concessions, builder incentives for FHA and conventional? And in your experience, have you maxed out those incentives and which build? This is such a good question. I love this because we just were having this conversation as a team, right, ladies?
Yes, we were.
And I've got a really cool cheat sheet that I can share with everybody here. Let me find it and share it with this community because it's an excellent cheat sheet on incentives. And I think that this is a really great question, and I'm happy to share it with you guys. So let me leave that up there while we share this. So. Okay. It's not as simple as the maximum for any, like what's the max? And I know this is small. I will do my best to make this larger for y'all so you can see it. There we go. That's better, right? It depends on the loan type. And it also depends on your down payment. So there's a lot of factors here on what the maximum concession amount is. And let me kill the question. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's going to give you a little bit more screen to look at here. All right. So if you go conventional, all right, a conventional loan, and you put less than 10% down, okay, the maximum seller contribution is 3%. Okay. If you put more than 10% down, you can go 6%. And if you put more than 25% down, you can go as much as 9%. It's fascinating, right? And that's if it's your primary home or your vacation home. Now, if it's an investment and you go conventional and you put more than 15% down, the maximum you can get is 2%. Okay. And I know this is a little bit small to see here, but this, y'all, I will put this, I'll put this on my Instagram page. Follow me on Instagram. Or go to my Instagram page. Forget about the follow. Just go to my Instagram page. It's juan.alcala.realtor. That handle you see on the screen. I will post this on my Instagram page after this show. You can go see it there. Okay. Feel free to save it, screenshot, whatever you want to do. If you go FHA and it's your primary residence and you put 3.5% or more, 3.5% is the minimum, then you can get up to 6% in closing cost. Okay. So that's the thing to understand. If you go VA, okay, and your closing cost, prepaid items and points, unlimited, up to 2 discount points. Or you can, here's the really cool thing about VA that most people don't know. The seller can make a contribution to the buyer, and the buyer can use that contribution to pay down their debt, like a credit card or whatever. It's crazy, right? In order to adjust their DTI to get them in a situation where they can afford more house, which is a fascinating. I've never done that personally, but I've spoke to agents, other real estate agents who have helped clients do that before. That is a fascinating approach. Why would you do that? And I know people are asking, why would you ever do that? Well, think of it this way. Let's say a seller had a home and it was $500,000, but the buyer only qualified for $480,000. But if they paid down a certain amount of debt, then that would eliminate that portion of the monthly debt to income that they have. Mm-hmm. And then that would free up that extra money to move them up that $20,000 in available funds to make that mortgage payment every month. It's crazy, but it works. And that's a benefit to the VA. And then the last one is the USDA down at the bottom there. Closing costs, prepaid items, that's up to 6% as well. Think of that very similar to an FHA. So hopefully, JW, that helps with your question. So again, usually up to 6%, depending on the down payment. It can be as little as 3%. A lot of flexibility in between there. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Great question. That is one of the I think that's the very first time anybody's ever asked that live. So appreciate the question there.
Great question and a great reason for us to say how important it is to have a good lender. You know, that can explain all that to you, and not only explain it because we can, but check out different things and come up with. They're very creative in figuring out ways, like Juan was talking about earlier, things normal people wouldn't think of that could get you into the house that you thought you might not be able to afford. So
absolutely,
very important.
Also ridiculously important to have a great realtor who can negotiate those types of deals on your behalf. So that, that is having the team. As Marcia said, amen to that, Marcia. You are spot on. All right, love it. We got more questions. Andrew, good evening, sir. Love this. He said, great areas for young family to rent, young family of 5 to rent, 65 to 85K income range. Okay. You got deep here. 5 bet. Let me right off the top of my head, ladies, where would you go? Let's start with Stacy.
Wesley Chapel. That would be my first pick, or San Antonio.
Quality schools, focus on safety, and affordable, right? And you can get newer homes, a newer single family home in a very reasonable price point from a rental perspective there. Marcia, what about to the south? Where would you point them?
Parish and Palmetto. Although I even know of a rental house that's 4-bedroom, 2-bath. I think they rented it for like $2,200 just recently, someone that I had talked to. So that'd give you an idea. I don't know what income you need to be able to rent that at, but that's just an example. That was in Bradenton, but I would say Parish in Palmetto is a lot like Wesley Chapel in that there's a lot of new, and this home in Bradenton was new as well, but those areas have a lot of new, convenient to cities and where you probably, would need to drive to. Depends on, you'd look in Wesley Chapel if you need to be to the north, and Parish or Palmetto if south of Tampa.
Yep. Agree. So Andrew, typically they want to see about 3 times the monthly gross income needs to be 3 times the rent amount. Not always, but we see that often. So keep that in mind, because I think you're at $6,250 for $75,000. So $75,000 annually breaks out to $6,250 a month gross. So that would put you in that $2,000 range. But again, it'll depend on the landlord. But it wouldn't surprise me if somebody asked it for up to 3 times the monthly amount. So just keep that in mind. If you go up to $85,000, I think that puts you closer to that $6,800 range, which again, $2,200 or something like that. It is going to be per property. It's not as simple as like, this is the one way it has to be. But they typically ask for 1 month's rent up front, and up to 1 month's rent and security deposit is pretty standard. FYI. So hopefully that helps you and your family. Feel free to reach out, man. Feel free to schedule a call with the team. Happy to help you through that process of picking up a rental also, if that's something you need help with. All right. Sassy Classy says, such an amazing pick, Marcia. I see it has great reviews at 4.7 stars. Love it. Are
you going to join us, Sassy, when we all go out to dinner?
Yep. Her and Lobo's coming too. So
we'll have to plan an event.
Yeah, we should do a live event.
That would be so fun.
We're going to live stream from the restaurant next Tuesday. So if you're wondering what all the food is on the table and all the noise, now you know what's going on. Love that. All right, Marcia, this one's for you.
Should we consider, Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Should we consider having a generator in Florida? How often do you lose power? I do know a lot of people have generators here. I personally don't. My husband and I don't feel like we need one because we've never lost power for more. I think the most has been 2 hours. So for me, I would say no. I guess it depends on what you need a generator for. If it's just for air conditioning and lights, then I guess I would talk, once you move into your neighborhood, talk to the people in that area and ask how often they've lost power and for how long. Or if people need, you know, like a oxygen machine or something like that, well, absolutely yes. So I think it depends on your situation.
Absolutely. Stacy?
How do you guys feel about that? Do I feel like you or?
Yeah, I think it also, you know, depends on the location. You know, in my experience, when I lived in a newer community, the power lines were underground. Huge storm would come, we may lose power, but like you said, it would just be for an hour or two. Hardly ever was it over 24 hours that we'd lose power. Now that I live in an older home and a, you know, older part of the community where the power lines are above ground, we lose power quite often, and we've lost power for 4 days before. So those big trees fall down and take the power lines down with it. So
good point. 4 days would be a long time to go without power.
It was very long.
Yeah.
Like the first day is not that bad after a storm, you know, because the weather is usually beautiful the next day.
Yeah.
But then it starts heating back up, and
Yep.
It's a little twisty.
And go ahead, say sorry to interrupt you.
No, I just said it gets a little toasty after that first day.
Gets a lot toasty. And it's so fascinating, right? Y'all, I live less than 2 miles to the Gulf of Mexico. All of our power line, my home was built in the 70s. We are not like the fancy new area. All of our power lines are above grade. We got huge, giant grand oaks in our neighborhood. I have a giant laurel oak in my front yard, and we have lost power maybe a combined 4 hours in 6 years. Like we've been very. It's the weirdest thing, right? So like, it's hit and miss. So great question, Debbie. And I think Marcia answered it very well. When you get into the community, ask your neighbors right away, right? Hey, what's going on? Have we had power outages? And again, what's the level of importance for it? Is it just because you need internet? Or is it because you need AC or because you need oxygen? All of those things matter. And I think it's a wonderful question. So thank you. And she said, by the way, hi, Marcia, I was thinking of you during Hurricane Debby. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Are there any newer developments happening in Port Richey or Newport Richey? Yes. And next week, I will. I'm going to bring on a new agent on our team. He's actually been with us a while, but you guys know how it is. There's this dating period. You don't introduce the new boyfriend or girlfriend to the kid, right? Like. So Dennis has earned his stripes, I'm proud to say. And next week, he will get his first official invite. And Dennis lives in Newport Richey. Sorry, actually, I think he lives in Port Richey, but that is his backyard. Dennis also lived in Dunedin for a period of time, too. So I'll let him speak to that and bring some information to you guys for those of you wondering about closer to the coast on the northwest side of Tampa Bay there, be able to share that with you, too. Okay, so great question. And thank you for bringing it. All right. AJ, Mr. Austin, he says, Juan, you recommended a barbecue spot a while ago in Tampa called The Brisket Shop. And I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Love that. I have never had anything like that since I left Texas. My man, that is seriously the best review. Wait till I tell Danny. All right, hold on. I got to get a screenshot of this. I'm taking a screenshot right now. And I'm going to send, and for those of you who don't know, Danny Hernandez is the owner and the pit master at the Brisket Shop over in Tampa. If you haven't been there, you have to go. It is an experience. It's not just the best barbecue. Danny is one of the best human beings that you will ever meet. So AJ, thank you so much for that. I can't wait to pass that along to him. He's going to be so happy. He might even cry. So I'll send you. I'll connect with them. I'll show them it personally, so I can pass that on, because just an incredible insight there. The Brisket Shop, y'all, cannot stress it enough. You have to go to the Brisket Shop. It will change your life. All right. Let's see. Shane says, I'm moving to Dunedin at the end of August, and I've been interested in getting into real estate. Is the place or places you would recommend to study and get the license? Oh, ladies. Your insights, and I'll share mine last.
I went to, is it the Tampa School of Real Estate? That's where I went. And I
did too.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend doing the in-person classes versus the online classes. I did mine in 2 weeks just because I didn't want too much time to go in between class. But I feel like they help you so much because they can really pinpoint what to study, because the book is really thick. That's a lot of information, and you only get 100 questions on the test. Okay. So that was huge for me.
Well, I got my license during COVID, so I did do it online, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be hard for me. It's not that it wasn't hard, but I enjoyed taking it online. So in the past, I would have always said take it in person, but I think depending on how you learn, you could, some people learn better in person and some online. And I feel like I'm a in-person learner, but I did fine. So
was it a Zoom online, or was it you just reading and learning yourself?
It was both. There was things that I read, but then they'd have a video that they'd put in of learning. And then I took like a cram course on a weekend that was live, but it was Zoom.
Yeah. See, they didn't offer all that before, because I got mine before COVID. So
okay.
It was
I got lucky. I even took my state exam at home.
Wow. You were lucky.
Well,
I hated driving there. You had to throw your stuff in the lockers, like they pat you down and don't look at anybody.
Well, that was awesome. It was very strict. You had to take a picture of all 4 walls.
Yeah.
And I kept getting a little message that come up and said something about talking. There should be no talking. And all it was me like whispering the questions to myself. I wouldn't even let me do that. I'm like, oh God. And I read out loud to myself a lot. Yeah. So it was just a habit. It wasn't that I was, but anyways, either way, Tampa School of Real Estate does an awesome job, and they offer a lot of different ways to learn. Like I said, you can do a cram course. They also had like a audio version of studying that would just help you. Like I'd put it on in the car, I'd put it anywhere I was, that you would listen to a brief information on a chapter and then test on it. So I kept doing that and I learned from it. So I'm very good at memorizing. It's keeping that in the brain that can be a problem.
Awesome.
When it comes to tests.
And now everyone knows how to pass the real estate exam test. Congratulations. And that's my recommendation too. I took my classes at Watson. I was in person for a week. I did that the year before we moved down, actually in the spring of 2017. And then I didn't take my exam until December of 18 when we moved down here. And I took that two-day refresher course, that weekend cram course or whatever they call it, and had no problems. So it's a great way to go. Now our entire audience, how to go get your real estate license. So you can start that process if that's what you want to do. I love it. All right. That's fantastic. So great question, Shane. Good luck. Let us know how that turns out, my man. Tom says, this is a great question. How do we keep the REITs from driving up real estate prices? He left that part out, but I'm filling it in because that's what he's talking about. A REIT is a real estate investment trust, FYI. That is a corporate code for giant hedge funds buying all of the single family real estate in the hottest real estate markets, AKA Tampa. And we had a ton of corporate buyers, almost to the tune of up to 20% during the peak in COVID of corporations buying single family homes. Well, why is that important? Because they were buying them to rent. Why would they do that? Because their belief is that real estate appreciates as an asset class over time, which it does. And inflation is going to continue to be a burden on most people in the United States, and rents are going to continue to increase. Will they go up and down during that period? Yes. Will they most likely go from one point to another and that be higher over time? The answer to that is yes. And the hedge funds believe in that so much that they're willing to pay cash for the same thing that you and I are fighting for as well. Now, it's not prominently, when we talk about how much real estate do they own across the United States, it's less than 2% of all real estate assets, Tom. So do keep that in mind. But they definitely are more aggressive in areas where people are moving to, i.e. Tampa. So it's a great question. And I don't have an answer for you outside of legislation and voting for it. We got to vote them out of single family homes and vote them out of condominium ownership. That's the only real way to do that. And we have to do that by exercising our right to vote. So great question. And that's the way that we can do it. So hopefully that helps. Mr. Santos, good evening, sir. Hopefully you're doing fine. I know you're another Largo resident, so just like myself. It's always awesome to have Jonathan on with us here. I want to show you guys, I've been talking about this infinity pool that I don't own, that I had in my backyard. Are you ready? Are you ladies ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
We're gonna share this, and boy, was this a moment! All right, now I'm gonna share it with everybody in real time here. See that this pops up. So this is my infinity pool / one that I don't have one. And wait, I'm gonna turn this on. You guys can check this out.
Oh yeah.
Is the sound playing?
No.
No.
Don't know how to fix that.
That's
It
crazy.
looks like it's just all running towards your house.
That's a gutter. It's supposed to be moving water from my house away from my house, but clearly that is not working. Just in case anyone who wanted to know. And as you can see, I'm just going to zoom back here a little bit. We knew there was water challenges, right? So, oh man, let me see. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it here. You can't put. There's a drain tile here, and for those of you who aren't familiar with like landscaping or anything like that, they cut. You see this ledge in the concrete between the pool and the patio right there?
Yeah.
There's a 6-inch slot there, and then they put drain tile, which is corrugated PVC pipe in there, and then they put rocks on top of it to drain. I have sump pumps on the outside of my house to kick this water out of here. But the big problem, if you can't see it, first of all, the pool is higher than the back door. No one does that. Who in the world does that? And then the second thing is this entire patio slopes back to the house aggressively. So there's another drain tile right by my door. It was just like, I looked at the back door. I was like, oh, we're going to get water today. It's happening. And the part that is frustrating is we're really high above sea level, but because of the way that these wonderful human beings, and this is the most diplomatic term I can use, engineered this patio, this is the situation that I now have to deal with. Welcome to home ownership, y'all. So Juan and his family will be busting all of this out, and we'll be elevating this, by the way. I'm going to pin that up, put fans underneath there and misters and the whole thing. And then we're going to be doing pavers, and I'm going to put in 3 drain tiles that lead to 3 separate sump pumps. We're going to get rid of that water. Because we're not doing that anymore. But that is going to be a project. Go ahead. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said at least you know how to fix the problem.
Yeah. I used to do this for a living. So that's we're going to go ahead and fix that because that is going to be a problem for sure. All right. Let's keep these questions rolling. Who we got here? Mr. AJ says, thank you. Truly amazing meal. Right on par with the brisket in Austin. Dude, he's going to cry. I'm telling you right now. When I let Danny know he's going to cry. Let me see here. Juan, I feel like I've watched your pothos plant grow up. I remember when it was just a baby. Yes, you have. And Sassy's referring to this beautiful plant on the ledge over here that I'm pointing to. That plant has been trimmed 3 times. So it is running around the house here. My wife is got a green thumb like nobody's business. So she is doing that. I will make sure that you said that plant is doing amazing, because if it was up to me, that thing would not be alive.
There'd be 1 leaf hanging on it.
I focus on real estate, not on plants, man. But that's her thing. She loves it. Andrew says, thank you guys. You're welcome, sir. We appreciate that. me see here. The power companies are currently moving the majority of lines underground. Yep, Tom, they hit Seminole last year. Eventually, they'll make their way over here. I'm excited for that too. LSS, where are you from, Marcia? Love the accent.
I am originally from Northern Michigan, and I've lived in the South since I was 24, but I've never lost my accent.
So 5 years ago, because she's 29.
Yeah, just a few years back. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Love that. Love it. Miss Seabloom, good evening. Mrs. Seabloom, let me make sure I get that correct. We are doing well. Thank you. Lindsay is from my hometown and a viewer, which I'm super happy about. But more importantly, she's an amazing human being. So thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. Okay. Dan R says, are there any luxury homes being built in Wesley Chapel, new communities? Miss Stacy?
Well, we are awaiting Two Rivers, which will be right there on the edge of Wesley Chapel. There is ICI Homes over in Estancia that Persimmons Park. And I think Epperson's Biscayne is done building out there. So you'd have to go a little bit farther north to San Antonio to get Homes by West Bay, Biscayne.
Yep.
And I heard Toll Brothers is coming out there.
I heard that as well.
Yeah.
Yep. So that'll be another one when the time comes. We'll keep you guys, again, that's why I'm going to the meeting on Thursday, next Thursday, so we can dial that in. It's not this Thursday. It's the 13th or whatever day that is. I'm going to go to that meeting, and I'll report back to you guys shortly after that. So we'll get you in the mix.
Yeah, I feel like the luxury homes in Wesley Chapel are in high demand because whenever they do open up a new community with those builders, they like go so fast.
Yeah, they go really, really quick. You are not wrong. I agree with that. Okay. Mr. AJ says, haha, it almost brought a tear to my eye after the first bite. The roll that comes with it was amazing as well. Hey, live stream for 2, just in case anyone was wondering. That's what's happening right now. We are just waxing poetic about the quality of the barbecue at the brisket shop. If you don't know, now you know. Get your butt over there. Don't go on Friday. That's the day I usually take the family. I'm not trying to compete with you for the last slice of brisket, so none of you are invited on Fridays. You can go on Thursdays, you can go on Saturdays, but none of you are allowed to go on Friday. Just kidding, y'all. Just kidding. All right. Janice says, hi all. What areas sustained flooding or damage from Debby? Florida. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. Shall I continue? I think it's still going actually right now. So a lot. There's been a lot of flooding. Not everywhere, Janice. It definitely is. It's going to be localized, low-lying areas. Those are the areas that really got affected. But definitely a lot of people have been impacted by this storm. So great question, and more to come on that, I'm sure, as we kind of dig into that. So love it.
I have to say, though, those retention ponds are doing their job because they're pretty full. I haven't seen a lot of flooding up here.
That they are very full. Trying to find the video of the Howard Franklin Bridge before we get off tonight, because that was, holy cow, that was fascinating. And I want to share that with you guys. Let me see if I can find it. Pretty sure. Oh, here it is. I'll show you in a second. I love the music they put to it too. That's so great. All right. Yes, sir, says that looks crazy, but the pool looks crazy nice. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I love our pool. It's not a small, it's not a Tampa pool. Tampa pools are 12 by 20s. There's like this standard postage stamp size for Tampa pools. But we also don't have a water feature or a spa. That pool is probably about 30 years old, maybe 20 years old, somewhere in that range. So it definitely doesn't have all the fancy stuff that the newer pools have on it. Whenever we go to refinish it again, which isn't going to be anytime soon because it was just done recently, we'll probably have all of that stuff done at that point because we love it. We would not own a home in Florida on purpose without a pool. Just doesn't make sense for our family. There may be a point in the future when that's not the case, but the kids all use it. I use it every day after I go for a walk. My wife swims in it after she goes for a run. Like, we love the pool. So that's a lifestyle thing. It's not for everybody, but if you can have one, they're lovely. All three of us have wonderful pools, right? Stacy's got the biggest yard. Stacy's yard, Marcia and I could both fit 2 of our yards in Stacy's yard. That's how big Stacy's yard is. It's awesome. Well, it may not be for hers much longer, but her current yard, right? Love that. Tom, great question. He says, Marcia, Youper? No, she's not a Youper.
No, I'm not a Youper, but I'm about 15 minutes from the Mackinac Bridge that goes into the UP.
More affectionately known as a what, Marcia? What do they call us when we're under the bridge?
I don't know.
Trolls.
They do?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Listen, this is wonderful. You lived all the way in northern Michigan, and you've never heard that Youpers call everyone who lives under the bridge, the Mackinac Bridge is what we're talking about, which is a humongous bridge. You are called a troll.
Well, I don't like that, so.
I don't either, but that's what they call us, right? That's funny. So Tom knew. That's great. Absolutely. Tom, you must have some insight. You probably have family up there, been up there before. Oh, there we go. I live in Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's the connection. Now we know. I was like, yeah, man, they call us trolls. We know the deal. That's awesome. I used to have one of my work offices used to be in Grand Rapids. I had an office in Romulus, Kalamazoo, Lansing, and then Grand Rapids when I worked in the beer business. So familiar with Grand Rapids. Nice area too, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, really blowing up over there. So that's great, man. I love that. Stacy?
Two Rivers looks interesting. Where will Toll Brothers be? Epperson. Yeah, Two Rivers is going to be an amazing community. Everyone's really excited for the new villages within Two Rivers to start opening. I did get an invitation from Pulte this week that they are going to be making some announcements next week.
About time.
So hopefully I'll have information for you next week on Pulte. But Toll Brothers, they will not be in Epperson. They will be at the Murata Lagoon, which is just a little bit farther north. And we heard that. I haven't seen anything official yet. That's just rumors on the street.
It's just what's hot on the streets.
That's just chatter.
I love it. That's great. And Two Rivers and Zephyr Hills, there will be luxury properties there. We're in the process of working through trying to get the last information on that. There'll be 2 to 5 million. So there'll definitely be some great options on the golf course. If that is up your alley, then keep in touch, Dan, because that's what's going on out there, and we'll be the first to break that news when the time comes. Okay. Let me see here. LSS says, where's the best place to purchase a new construction home with an income of 140K? Well, 140K, ideally they don't want you any more than 25% of your income. So, I mean, that puts you in that 500 to 600 range. You can do that from Parish all the way up to Wesley Chapel. You can do that all the way down Lakewood Ranch, all the way up to Wesley Chapel. So you can get into some of the best communities in all of Tampa Bay, LSS. So just heads up on that. But of course, it will depend on your debt, right? So if you have a bunch of debt to go along with that 140K, it will limit your opportunities. But if you don't have much, then that 140K will go pretty darn far for you in terms of housing right now. So feel free to reach out, man. The contact info is on the screen. You can text me, or I'll put a link to my calendar. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it right in the chat for you guys, so everyone has access to that. And you can just schedule a time that makes the most sense for you. So that's going in the chat conversation right now. Okay. Couple more questions here. Mr. Morelli says, what do you think about the best 55 and over community with a golf course from Tampa to Orlando? Dude, that's a wide berth. Tampa to Orlando is a long way. You got a lot of options in between there. Marcia, best 55 plus on a golf course. Now we're gonna be talking about Lakewood Ranch, National, like other areas like that. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he means south of Tampa, but I don't know areas, directly across to Orlando, but Lakewood Ranch and Bradenton have a ton of, and also Parish actually have a ton of communities. with golf course, none of them are 55 plus communities. But you could live in a community that wasn't 55 plus with the golf course, or live in the 55 plus and be near tons of golf course communities that are public. So you could make a decision that way. But Florida is full of golf courses and wonderful communities. And I don't think it depends on why you want a 55 plus if you choose that over a golf course community.
Yeah, check out, Esplanade in Lakewood Ranch has that availability, and that's a beautiful golf course down there. So definitely worth checking out there, Bob. And there's more. Again, we'd have to dial in a little bit more on exactly what you're trying to accomplish from a lifestyle perspective before just blindly giving recommendations. We always love to match the correct community with your ideal lifestyle. That is our focus as a team here. That tends to get you to the best possible outcome. So that's our focus. Tom says, I owned a brewery. Of course you did. In Grand Rapids, that makes sense. I love it. And that's why I was in Grand Rapids all the time with 4 beers. So I was in the beer business for 7 years and was in restaurants for a decade prior to that, and just have loved being in the industry. We've always been in the service-based industry in one way. I ran restaurants before. I was in the beer business for a long time. I was on the craft side of the business from 2012 to 2017, Tom. So right during the craft boom, and really got to experience a lot of wonderful things in that industry. And, being around a lot of great breweries and brewers was one of those things that I absolutely love. The industry was wonderful. Definitely a young man's game, though. Can't stay in that business forever if you're not single and young. Let me tell you, that's a hard business to be in when you're running around with clients every night and doing events on the weekend. So shout out to you, man. That's that's not a small feat either. Owning a brewery is a large capital investment for most people. And hopefully it ended well for you. And hopefully that was a blessed experience while you had it. So thanks for sharing, man. Dan R says, thanks, guys. And you're welcome, Dan. And, y'all, it's been a wonderful evening sharing with you guys. I want to show you this one thing before we sign off, because the Howard Franklin Bridge was a very interesting situation yesterday. And I thought the music was great that they got this video too. Absolutely love it. Where is it?
While you're looking for that one, I wanted to mention to the gentleman that asked about the golf course, you had said Azario, and I would say that would be my number one pick on a golf course community. And it's not a 55 plus, but it has amenities galore, and it's perfect for people that are in their 55 plus years. So definitely check into that, and I'd love to give you more information if you want it.
Yeah, feel free to reach out. Happy to make that connection. We're here to serve you guys. That's what we do. We love it. I love the music. Wait till you hear the music, y'all. So for those of you who don't know, let me give some context before we share what this video here. All right. So the Howard Franklin Bridge is the main bridge. That is I-275 coming out of Tampa over to the Pinellas County beaches. Okay. So I'm going to share this with you guys right now. We can just get context together. This is, let me pull off of here. This is the main bridge. This is the whole thing that goes from Tampa over to Pinellas County. This bridge right here is 8 lanes, 4 lanes on each side. They're building a whole new project. We shared that on here before. And then this, this is what this bridge looked like during the storm.
Oh my gosh.
I love the music. Yeah.
Those cars going across?
Those are cars. The people were driving across that yesterday. This is why when people are like, don't people leave when there's a hurricane coming? No, Floridians don't care. That's how we roll. We're like, wow. Hurricane, world's about to be flooded. We're all good. Like, it's fascinating to me. When I saw that, I was like, oh my word. And that's what fascinated me. With all the storms we've had, I haven't seen anything like that yet. And that bridge was jacked up. They had to do work on it yesterday morning to get it back open because it was going crazy over there.
Where was that video posted at?
That and TikTok. I'll track down I saw another one too, but that was northbound. So that was coming from Pinellas County over to Tampa.
Yeah.
And it was because the water comes up in the bay. Let me go back over to the screen just so everybody can kind of get context.
I can't believe cars were on there.
I can't either.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
So
did they close that bridge or no?
No.
Oh, wow.
So here's the Howard Franklin. And just let's zoom out just a touch. All right. So the storm was like 70 miles off the coast out here. And it was whipping the winds and they were circling around this way. Well, they were circling and pushing water up into the bay. Okay. So that's why you saw that. And then they were hitting this bridge. That's what was happening here.
Yeah.
So the northbound lanes running over into Tampa, that's where all that water was pushing in on y'all. It was good. I saw that. I was like,
and that is a long bridge. So it wasn't like that was happening for 30 seconds. That was happening for a long time. While you're in your car.
Yep, a long time. So I can't imagine, man, you're driving down that road and seeing that water come up on that. Like, what are you going to do? You got to keep going.
Go faster.
Right? That is crazy talk, well, this is all part of living in Tampa Bay. We're so grateful to be able to spend time with you guys tonight. Like I said, if you have more questions, feel free to put them in the comments later. I will answer every legitimate comment and question down there. Also, it's what helps drive these live streams. We try to bring you the information that you want to know. New communities, restaurants, construction projects, well, we talk about all the things on this channel, and we're happy and grateful to be able to serve this community. And thank you for trusting us, y'all. We have helped 55 families find homes this year. Couldn't be more proud of this team. They are in the process of helping about another 15 go through this process right now, not even including the people who have reached out that are about to come to town or planning on coming to town in the next few months. If you are considering buying, selling, or relocating anywhere in the greater Tampa Bay area, we would love to be your real estate resource of choice. Stacy is here to help. Marcia is here to help. Both of them are incredible. We got Dennis about to join us on the live stream next week. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for allowing us to serve you. Thank you for being part of this amazing community and this audience. Ladies, any final words before we sign off this evening?
Thank you. Great questions again tonight. And I will work on getting Juan to get us set up for a live at a restaurant.
Ditto.
Yeah, if we can find good enough internet, I am down for it. We will make that work. There is no doubt.
Then we can just sit around, have dinner, chit chat,
Live streaming beers. I'm here for it. Let's go. All right, let's go. All right. Well, as always, y'all, we sign off every week the same way. We appreciate you guys. Go out and live that life.
Life.
Have a great night.